Hi there and welcome to our second Facecast brought to you live from Autodesk University. If you joined us last night, you saw Chris Bradshaw talk about what AU really is and how to participate with AU Virtual. Well, today, this morning at the actual physical AU, we had our general session keynote and it was awesome. We had Jeff Kowalski, the Autodesk Chief Technology Officer, talk about some of the major disruptions and waves that are really taking place in the world today. Things like infinite computing, things like the cloud and the crowd. Really, really interesting session. Be sure to check it out on AU Virtual. I think it's going to be live there tomorrow. We also had Chris Anderson, the editor-in-chief of Wired Magazine, talk about the Internet of Things and how to make stuff really cheaply and easily. And these guys are going to be able to talk a little bit about that as well. We had the president of Tech Shop on, who, Tech Shop, if you're not aware of it, is an awesome spot where you can go and build basically anything you want. They've got all the machinery in the world in a 20,000 square foot facility. For $100 a month, you can have a membership to this place and just go crazy designing and building things. We also had Carl Bass, the Autodesk CEO, talk about some of the really neat and interesting things that you can do with some of our simulation types of products and our design suites. And then we also had EJ Sabathia. EJ is a designer with Moon Express, as is Guy Shrieky. They've got a really, really interesting story to tell, and we'll get to it in a little bit. Just a little sneak preview. It has to do with outer space. But before we get to that, how did you guys get started with AutoCAD and with designing things?
So my experience with AutoCAD and with Autodesk design tools started in high school through a program called US First Robotics. It brings professionals and professional software to high school students and allows you to have that firsthand experience in designing and creating things in a digital world and how that all works with the manufacturing and engineering world, and actually putting that product out there. And the main stage for that is competition. Everybody gets excited about competition, and it's a competition that is now international. There are more than 3,000 teams, and it's a bunch of high school kids working with engineers. Everybody's a big kid there, and it's a lot of fun. So that's how we started with the program.
And what sorts of things have you guys designed in
Well,
First
so
Robotics?
actually EJ was my mentor when I was a student. So I was in 9th grade and EJ was my mentor as part of a team that cooperated with us. And I started out with AutoCAD 14 way back when, learned all my command line. And I started out designing robots. The first thing I worked on was actually a drivetrain that kind of revolutionized the way First Robotics worked. We developed something called the West Coast Drive, which is synonymous in First now, like a 6-wheel drive base with 2-speed shift on the fly gearboxes. And way back when we didn't know better, we thought that slamming gears into each other was a much better idea than other shifting options. And we, through design processes, we perfected it and made it a lot better, and now it's really cool.
So you started with R14. How old were you when you first started with AutoCAD?
Oh, I must have been 14.
How does a 12, 13, 14-year-old start? Did First Robotics get you into it, or did you already pick up CAD prior to that?
I hadn't picked up CAD, but I showed up at the robotics team, and then they were like, so we're doing this, and this is how we do it. And I was like, so I need to learn this program. And it kind of looks ridiculous, especially like white lines on a black screen. You don't really know what's happening especially at like that age. But they're like, so, they sat us down. We had mentors who were really good, and they walked us through it and like gave us the basics. And it was more just long nights, reading internet forums back in the old days of the internet.
Yeah.
So I mentioned the 3,000 teams globally for First Robotics. Autodesk is, I believe, one of the platinum sponsors of First. So these CAD packages, AutoCAD, Inventor, 3D Studio Max, and I believe soon Maya, are all available in student versions, or in some cases, their professional versions, free to these high school students.
Oh, yep. And we're actually going to be joined after these guys by folks from our education team who can actually give the plug about how you can get some free software yourself if you're a student. So, Guy, how is he as a mentor?
Ruthless. So EJ, I guess the best way to describe EJ is that there's this passion for perfection. always can be better. And he always expects better of me. And like now that we work together, we have the same drive. He's instilled that drive into me through his mentorship. And we go to work, and it definitely shows throughout our entire team. We don't do anything unless we know we can do it better than everybody else. That's how you become world champions.
So my keynote coach for my speech was actually a guy, and so I got a little bit of a role reversal and giving some of it back to me after our dress rehearsal last night, and we're actually up to about 12:30, and then again this morning with him telling me it's not good enough. You're not letting your personality shine through enough. It's not good enough. Do it over. Do it better. So I guess I taught him well enough and got some of that back this morning.
Sounds like the drill sergeant in both of you or something. Nice. So now you guys work for a company called Moon Express. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So Moon Express is a private space company, and we're all about the privatization of space. So working to get back to the moon, proving that it can be done, and taking a lot of newer, better technologies with us. And we've got a lot of goals that we're trying to achieve there with that.
Yeah, so Moon Express is a private space company, and we do it differently. We don't have the overhead. We're 18 people strong right now, and we're putting something on the moon very soon. We collaborate with some very, very big partners, and we have a lot of help along the way. But the biggest thing is that they took this huge leap of faith in our team. We doubled the size of the company almost. They hired 8 of us out of the NASA Ames Robotics Academy, which EJ and I are products of, and they were like, "You guys do something really good. We're not 100% sure what you do. We've seen it for 2 days, but we know we want it." And they hired all of us. They're like, "Whatever it takes. We don't want you to go back to school." They made me drop out of graduate school.
How'd your parents feel about that?
My mother was very unhappy.
Yeah.
So what Guy is talking about was that the NASA Ames Robotics Academy,
Yep.
Something that Guy and I had been doing in addition to our first mentorship and experience for 4 summers together at NASA Ames, and it was designing, for the Google Lunar X Prize, but kind of with the idea that it's all in theory, working in partnership with like how you can do it. And at the end of every summer, we gave a pitch to companies, and Guy was a big part of finding companies to listen to us and who actually wanted to hear what we had to say. And every summer we'd come back. I worked there year-round while still trying to finish up classes. But this summer we actually got to give that pitch to Moon Express. A couple of the engineers that we now work with side by side came out. Barney Pell came out, and they loved the work we were doing. They loved the passion that we showed for what we were doing, even though it really wasn't going anywhere.
No, quick tidbit on this. So we thought they were going to come out for 45 minutes. We had to get them out at 6 o'clock, which was like 4 hours later, just so that we could make sure they got out of the gate in time before it closed. So
Yeah. So the gate he's talking. They basically all live together and work together at Moffett Field, but part of the NASA research facility. Is that right?
Yeah, so we rent like private office space. Right now we're crammed into a couple offices, and it's full of helicopter wars and coffee machines. But we have, it's kind of cool because we go to work and like, this will be the building you have one day. You'll have your own desk. So we're actually going to be in a credit union that we've taken over, the Moffett Credit Union. And this giant, awesome space, it's going to be pretty cool. We even have a vault to store any extraterrestrial life we bring back from the moon.
Nice.
Anything else we want.
Very cool. So let's talk about the lunar lander.
Okay.
And we saw a replica, a mock-up of the lunar lander actually land on our general session main stage. But can you talk a little bit about the design process around that and what's going to happen next?
So Moon Express has a Space Act agreement with NASA. So we are partners with NASA. So a lot of their technologies and designs are shared with us. Our lander is an iteration, a reverse engineered design of the LADI orbiter. So we're taking a lot of the work that was already done with LADI, figuring out why and how they did what they did, and using any and every part of it we can to create our lander. And it sounds like, oh, you're just recreating what was already done. It's a lot of work, to recreate something that is now going to the moon, a completely different thermal environment. It's got to have legs to land instead of staying in orbit. But the idea behind it being, you're not spending money to recreate the wheel. It was already done. It was done here. It was done well by NASA, a reputable entity, and we're taking a lot of that work and reusing it.
Yep.
Well, the cool thing also with LADI is it's part of the Common Space Bus project. So LADI, L-Cross, there's been a couple like hover test vehicles designed. They built a platform that's a ready-to-go spacecraft, and that's what we're kind of leveraging.
Nice.
So it's like a commercial off-the-shelf thing, and we're just doing it space way.
Yeah, we're taking it and making it our own, using it for our own purposes.
Very cool. And hey, by the way, for all of you watching online, you've got a chat box below. If you have questions for these guys, go ahead and chat it in. We'll get to those in just a second. So when is this thing going to land on the moon?
We've got a short timetable, nothing really set in stone, but I'm 27. Hopefully before I'm 30, I'll say I have a launch under my belt.
Nice, nice. And then you got to bring it back, right?
Well, so the first one is going to take some video and win the Google Lunar X Prize. That's priority mission. Actually, priority mission number one is get something to the moon.
Yeah.
Even if we get a rock on the moon, like we're doing something, right? So get it to the moon, and then it's gonna do the Google Lunar X Prize thing, which will be cool. And then we're just gonna do like more like technology demonstration to prove we can do some things, and then we can focus on bringing stuff back.
Okay.
A very expensive technology demonstration.
Very.
But a very powerful statement. Once you've proven that you can go there, you're basically creating your own market to work in. We're creating our own, following a business model, but creating our own market for our business to thrive in.
Yep. Nice. And so to design this lunar lander, you did most of your work in Inventor, right?
Well, so we are not the main force behind the lander, just
Right.
to
Okay.
clarify. So we do work on the lander, and we're a big part of that. But our thing is the rover.
Oh, right.
And that's what we revealed today at Autodesk University in EJ's keynote.
Yep.
So we have 2 rovers who, as EJ said, are intrepid explorers on the lunar surface.
Right.
So we have 2 rovers that we developed, and they came out of our work out of the NASA Ames Robotics Academy.
Yeah.
And so these rovers have been, prototyped over and over in Inventor. EJ's our lead designer, actually. So.
But to answer your question, yes, most of our work is done in Inventor using a lot of multi-physics and CFD packages. But our primary work is done in Inventor.
Nice, nice. Including like simulations and all that
Yeah,
sort of
All
We
the
do
simulations, all that kind of stuff.
Very cool. Hey, so we have Gabrielle behind the camera who's actually monitoring the chat and looking at her phone. But Gabrielle, do we
Yes, we
have
have
any
a couple
questions coming in?
questions. The first question is, how long did it take to design the rover?
So the rover design process, like we said, was work that we have kind of done with NASA during our time there as students. So not so much reusing that work, but there's a lot of lessons you learn about how to do things, how to shield things, why to use certain things. So we've been working on the current Moon Express rover for 2 months, and it seems like a short time, but it's kind of a lengthy amount of time for us because we're used to our first deadlines of 6-week build time. But current rover production has been 2 months, but again, leveraging a lot of the information and technology used with NASA.
Also, that's 2 months, just to clarify, too. 2 months, not full rover done. I wish it was wham bam. No, that's 2 months, and then we got a prototype that we can make infinitely better.
That's great.
And what's, for you, for both of you, I guess, what is the most exciting aspect of working on the rover?
So I think the coolest thing is the fact that we're doing something that people haven't done before. And in a sense, it's kind of ridiculous how we do things, because we never really had anyone telling us this is the right way or this is the wrong way to do it. So when it came to making a lunar rover, and we were part of this NASA Ames Robotics Academy, the program didn't have enough money to hire actual engineers, so they just said go. You can ask anyone any questions you want on base, you can call them whatever, go. No one's going to tell you what's wrong. So we just came up with these innovative solutions that really weren't, were just maybe overlooked or just weren't come across before, because we weren't limited by what we knew. So going in and just knowing we can do whatever we want, and if it fails, it fails, but you gotta, they always say fail often, fail early.
Yep.
Speaking towards the now, the most exciting part about working on this rover for Moon Express, to me, is the atmosphere that Bob Richards and the others who started the company have created for us to work in. So we work in an environment where there's a lot of people our age. We have requirements, we have directives for things that need to get done, but it's our responsibility to do that. It's not as if we're working under senior engineers or senior management to do that. It really, our ideas and our thoughts are really going into the computer and being created, but at the same time they have this incredible network of people that are available for us to bounce ideas and questions off of. As far as doing design reviews, at age 27 I never thought I'd be able to sit and say I sat and was part of a design review. I'm speaking and Alan Stern sitting there reviewing, giving me live feedback, one, telling me I did a good job for some aspects, and two, grilling me and busting my butt over what I need to do better.
Yeah,
so
and making you better, right?
Exactly. So the kind of people I have access to, the things they've done, the experiences they have, and their reputations, the people I have access to that are really, thinking about, listening to, and giving feedback, the things that are on my mind, the things that are, that I'm thinking about, the things that I'm creating, to me is really the most exciting part, and what makes that the job we have now a dream job.
Very cool. So you're here at AU. Is it the first AU for both of you guys?
Yeah.
First AU,
Nice.
yes.
What are your plans? Classes, networking? The whole
So
thing?
we've got a bunch of classes that we're we're trying to sign up for and get to. A lot of certifications we want to get done. We mentioned earlier it's kind of interesting to now have the opportunity to be certified on a software that I've been using since I was 14. So for the past 13 years I've been using AutoCAD and Inventor and some of the simulation packages, and
Yep.
just now I'm being certified. So getting to see a lot of those. I heard rumors of some sort of brawl that's going to be going on.
It's a gray matter brawl, I believe.
Yeah.
So the tech shop CEO and some other people, I think. I'm not sure if it's a battle of the minds. I'm hoping it's more of a fist UFC type thing.
I think it's more of a battle of the minds.
Yeah.
But I did see some boxing gloves floating
That's what I was
around.
hoping.
We don't need anyone in wrestling leotards or anything like that. So hopefully it's Battle of the Minds.
And there are also some great demonstrations, again, to pitch the education department. Some of my mentors and another first student that I was known for years are actually upstairs with Vext and IFI Robotics having a demonstration, and definitely going to run by and check and see what they're about.
Very cool.
Yeah, I was looking. You saw me as soon as you asked what we're doing. I was looking for my name tag, because on the back of my name tag I have a Post-it, and it has every single class I want to go to. The biggest problem with that is that there are more classes I want to go to than there's time allotted.
Yeah. Well, and there's where you're lucky. So we have AU Virtual, the little pitch, where the classes that you don't make it to, you can access after the fact, watch a recording. So anyway, well, I will let you guys go, and thanks
Thank
for
you for
coming.
having us.
Thank you.
And hopefully we'll hang out more at AU. Okay. And actually up next we're going to do a little transition here, just live on camera. We're going to have Sarah O'Rourke and Philip Cox come up and talk about education. So I'll kick you guys out.
All right.
And get them in. All right, come on in here, you guys. So, Sarah is take care, you guys. Sarah is one of our education marketing folks who works with students, basically leading a lot of the education initiatives that we have at Autodesk. Education is very important to us. We love students, and we want to make sure that, you guys get well trained on our software. So Sarah, maybe you could give a little plug to Autodesk Education.
So thanks, Chris, and the team for having us here today. It's really exciting for Autodesk Education to be on the AutoCAD Facecast. We know that you guys have a huge following, and the students are coming up right behind you.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. And actually, for those of you watching, we have a great Autodesk Students Facebook page, which maybe you can actually talk a little bit about what they can find there.
Yeah, definitely. I'll actually let Philip, as one of our students, talk about that. It's Autodesk Students on Facebook. So, Phil, why don't you tell us a little bit about us and maybe tell us why you're here today?
Okay, yeah, I'll do that, Sarah. I actually got into the program not too long ago. It was kind of fun hearing the story from the other guys that have been doing this since they were little, getting on the CAD systems. But just for all of you out there who haven't been doing that, don't worry, because you can get on it even right now. But I was introduced to CAD, and then just a year later, I got involved with Autodesk, and they brought me on as an expert. and was able to go out to a boot camp and get training on Inventor, AutoCAD, and Revit, which is really awesome. And now I'm able to, at my campus, extend that opportunity to all the students out there with the free software and just easy access through the Facebook page that they can go and like and get involved with all the students posting different things they've made on the software. And it's really cool to be able to communicate with all the students out there doing cool stuff.
Well, and one of the things you can see by our shirts, they say get involved, that we're launching here at Autodesk University is a whole new initiative to professionals out there. So it's not just about students and educators really taking the reins and driving awareness of education, but it's really leveraging our professionals who are so passionate about Autodesk technology, design, and we've created a site, autodesk.com/getinvolved, where professionals can really get out into the community through a variety of ways. One is by, if you're a parent yourself, maybe a mentor, as we heard from our guests earlier, get into the classroom and deliver a presentation about your career. So whether you're an engineer, you're an architect, you're a digital artist, whatever your fascination is, students need to hear about that at an early age so that they're aware of all of the possibilities that they can do with their careers later in life. So that's kind of the first one. The second is to become a mentor. So we know everyone, likes to get involved in some way. You heard from, EJ, First Robotics is only one of the many global educational partnerships that are out there, and they're always looking for professionals to come in and teach students, to showcase what they know. And like you heard earlier, the boundaries are limitless, right? They can go and do whatever just by being shown. And then the third is we've worked with the consumer product team to do a hands-on project for the holidays. So if you want to decorate a snowman, if you want to change the color of a scarf, you can do that either with your child, with your grandchild, or yourself, and actually get that sent out to one of the 3D printing partners or possibly a puzzle there. So we really want everybody to take an active part, and that's really our rally cry right now, is to get involved in education.
Very cool. And so you're a student expert. How do you become a student expert?
Actually, it's really kind of simple. You just have to...
You have to be an expert.
Yeah. You just get involved and get talking with people. We're actually trying to expand as quick as possible so that we can get the word out and get as many students involved in making stuff as possible. On my campus, we're looking for students that are interested. And it's the same with campuses all over the world. So if you're interested, find an expert near you, or make a comment on the Facebook page, try to find someone to talk to, and you can get involved just the same as me.
Very cool. And so how much more time do you have left in school?
I actually have a year left.
Okay,
so.
and then what are the plans after school? What do you want to get into?
A job.
A job. If anyone out there is hiring.
I'm actually really interested in parametric design. It's what I do a whole lot. I teach a CAD class at BYU where I'm going to school, and the parametrics and kind of modeling in that way is really interesting to me, so that's what I'm going into.
Nice. Very cool. All right, well, Gabrielle, do we have any questions online for
Yes,
Sarah?
people are interested in learning more about the expert program. Can you talk a little bit about how many experts there are, what the role is, the duration? Is it a time commitment of a year? Or?
Yeah, definitely. So the great thing about Autodesk being a global company is the student expert program is global as well. So we have a huge presence. There's, I think close to 1,000 student experts worldwide. They represent our campuses everywhere, whether that's a four-year universities. And what we would really like people to do is there are some requirements, so please feel free to just like us, Autodesk students, on Facebook, and then go ahead and send a message, and we'll have somebody get back in touch with you. It's usually for 1 calendar year, and you have to meet some requirements, both technical requirements and go through some rigorous training. So we definitely are looking for feet on the street out there.
Very cool. And can you talk a little bit about, so we know students can get software for free. They can access it through the Facebook page, right? Can you talk about what software they're able to download and use?
Yeah, I mean, it's all the professional versions of Autodesk software, and we really just released a great new opportunity for students where it's a 3-year personal license, and so it is for personal use. If there are universities out there that would like to purchase for a network or a lab, please obviously work with one of our local resellers who can help you achieve that. But the student community is a great resource for students and educators. We don't want to alienate them, but it has software, there's support opportunities about the products. You can post what you've done with the products. And then for educators specifically, you can download Autodesk-specific curriculum, whether that's in the primary area, and that's the digital STEAM workshop, or for the post-secondary collegiate level, we have the sustainability workshop and the BIM workshop. So definitely take a stroll over those and over there and check those out.
Yep.
Yeah, I know I have about 4 products on my laptop, and it's honestly, I mean, the battery's cutting down. It's not the greatest thing, but it still can run it. So I know a lot of students are like, well, will it work on my computer? And the answer is probably yes.
Yeah, and it's the same software that professionals use. It's the most current software that you can get, which is great. And one of the most common questions we get on the AutoCAD Facebook page is, how can I get AutoCAD for free? Or can somebody send me a crack for AutoCAD 2010? You don't need any of that. You don't need to pirate software. If you're a student, just go to the Autodesk student site and you can download it for free. And it's a fully licensed version. Gabrielle, any other questions before we
Can you
sign
give
off?
us those URLs again? You talked about a Get Involved one. You talked about the education page, the Facebook page.
Yeah, so I'll run through those. So first, obviously, is professionals. If you want to get involved in education and in your community, go to autodesk.com/getinvolved. If you're a student, please log into Facebook and just search for Autodesk Students, and you can go ahead and like our page. There might even be a similar like from our friends over here in the AutoCAD Facebook world. And then there's also one for Autodesk Educators. So look at that, and then again, always Autodesk.com is a great resource, and just search for students or education, and you'll find what you're looking for.
Awesome. Well, as we sign out, I will let you know we've got a couple more Facecasts coming up today. This afternoon at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time here in the U.S. We're actually going to be joined by the winner of our 3ds Max Design Hero Image competition. This person just designed an awesome looking image. And then this evening we are going to be joined by Amar Hansball, who's the Senior Vice President of the Platform Solutions Division at Autodesk. He's the guy in charge of AutoCAD and everything in my world that I work in. Excuse me while I fix my microphone here. Anyhow, with Amar, we're going to have a great customer by the name of Marcello Martino, who actually designed some sunglasses that a lot of the people here at AU are wearing. So join us later. You'll see the sunglasses. You'll see the 3ds Max Design Hero image, and we'll have some fun. And bring your questions. Until then, we'll sign off for now. Thanks.